Radha Srivasadi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, chapter 21, text 27. We are in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So we continue reading the purport. The different varieties of life and of material existence do not come about by chance and necessity. They are different arrangements made by the Supreme Lord in terms of the pious and impious activities of the living entities. By performing pious activities, one can take birth in a good family, in a good nation, one can get a beautiful body, or one can become very well educated or very rich. We see, therefore, that in different places and in different planets, there are different standards of life, bodily features, and educational statuses, all awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to pious or impious activities. We may like it or we may not like it. The law of karma exists. The Lord has made it. The actions which we have done, we will get reactions for them. That's why we see why someone born in a rich family, someone is born in a poor family, why is someone more beautiful, someone not so beautiful. Why these differences are there, not by chance, but by law of karma. Varieties of life therefore develop not by chance, but by pre-arrangement. So who is the lawmaker? Because we all say, yes, law of karma is there, law of karma exists. The universe will give you back what you do. We say such things, but who is the person behind it? That is Lord Krishna. There is a plan which is already outlined in the Vedic knowledge. One has to take advantage of this knowledge and mold his life in such a way that at the end, especially in the human form of life, he may go back home, back to Godhead by practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is the goal of all the Vedas. Vedascha sarve ahameva vedya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. The goal of Vedas is to understand Krishna and for us to develop our Krishna, our love for Krishna, revive our love for Krishna. Theory of chance can best be explained in the Vedic literature by the words agyata sukriti, which refer to pious activities performed without the actor's knowledge. But these are also planned. For example, Krishna comes like an ordinary human being. He comes as a devotee like Lord Caitanya, or he sends his representative, the spiritual master or pure devotee. This is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvas and educate, and thus a person in the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them, talk with them, and take lessons from them. And somehow or other, if a condition, somehow or the other, if a conditioned soul surrenders to such personalities and by intimate association with them, chances to become Krishna conscious, is saved from the material conditions of life. So agyata sukriti is one may unknowingly do some spiritual activity, unknowingly help a devotee get a book, hear the holy name, do some service for a devotee. And that pious credit, the spiritual credit keeps growing and growing, then it gives us a chance to get proper association of the devotee. And then by the association, one gradually can revive the Krishna consciousness. So we should give this opportunity to everyone so they can also start the Krishna consciousness. Let everyone get to hear the holy name so they can also revive their love for Krishna. Krishna therefore instructs Sarva Dharman Parityagya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyami Ma Sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18:66. The word Sarva Papebhya means from all sinful activities. A person who surrenders unto him by utilizing the chance to associate with a pure devotee, spiritual master, or other authorized incarnations of Godhead, like Pṛthu Maharaj, is saved by Krishna, then his life becomes successful. So this is Krishna's promise. Do not fear, he says. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. We have faith in so many things. So much advertising we put our faith in. But our real faith is, in fact, we should put faith in Krishna's words. We have faith that the insurance company says, oh, I insure you. And so that's the reason we keep paying the insurance premiums. But this is Krishna who's saying, don't fear. He's saying, surrender unto me. And Lord Chaitanya showed us how to surrender by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. 28-29. Manor uttana padasya
मनो उत्तानपादस्य
ध्रुवस्यापि महीपते
ध्रुवस्य अपि महीपते
प्रियव्रतस्य राजर्षेः
प्रियव्रतस्य राजर्षे
अङ्गस्यास्मत् पितुः
पितु
ईदृशानाम् अथान्येषाम्
ईदृशान् अन्येषाम्
अजस्य च भवस्य च
अजस्य भवश्च
प्रह्लादस्य बलेश्चापि
प्रह्लादस्य बलेश्चापि
कृत्यम् अस्ति गदावृता
कृत्यम् अस्ति गदावृता.
This is confirmed not only by the evidence of the Vedas, but also by the personal behavior of great personalities like Manu, Uttanapad, Dhruva, Priyavrat, and my grandfather Anga, as well as by many other great personalities and ordinary living entities, exemplified by Maharaj, Prahlad, and Bali, all of whom are theists, believing in the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who carries a club. So here, Pṛthu Maharaj is saying, he's speaking that so many authorities are confirming the position of Krishna. They are confirming that one should engage in devotional service, and they themselves are engaging in devotional service, exemplified. So this is the way that following in the footsteps of the acharyas. So Pṛthu Maharaj is saying the sadhus, the gurus, the shastras, they all followers of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Narottam Das Thakur states that one has to ascertain the right path for his activities by following in the footsteps of great saintly person and books of knowledge under the guidance of a spiritual master, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya. Following the footsteps of the great acharyas, Mahajano Yena Gata Sapantha. Who are we following? Now social media, we have so much social media and we follow so many people. The Shastras, they say that we should be following the footsteps of the great acharyas, not imitate them. There's a difference between imitating and following. Following means following the instructions. We cannot do what the great personalities do, We can simply follow the instructions, hearing and chanting. A saintly person is one who follows the Vedic injunctions, which are the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Guru refers to one who gives proper direction under the authority of the Vedic injunctions and according to the examples of the lives of great personalities. So Guru is going to follow the Shastra and the Sadhu. Has to be. The best way to mold one's life is to follow in the footsteps of authorized personalities like those mentioned here by Pṛthu Maharaj, beginning with Swayambhuva Manu. The safest path in life is to follow such great personalities, especially those mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Mahajanas or great personalities are Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, Manu, the Kumaras, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, Yamaraj, Bhishma, Janak, Sukadev Goswami, and Kapila Muni. So these are the Mahajans mentioned in the Bhagavatam. We have contemporary Mahajans also. We have the 6 Goswamis. We have Narottam Das Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhaktisanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. So the Mahajans are there. They keep coming for our benefit, to bring us back home, back to Godhead. Dohitradin rite mrityo.
Dohitradin mrityo.
Shochan dharma vimohitan.
Shochan dharma vimohitan.
Varga svarga pavarganam.
Varga swarga pavarganam.
Praye nekatmya hetuna.
Praye nekatmya hetuna.
Although abominable persons like my father Vena, the grandson of death personified, are bewildered on the path of religion, all the great personalities, like those mentioned, agree that in this world the only bestower of the benedictions of religion, economic development, sense gratification, liberation, or heavenly or elevation to the heavenly planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. King Vena, the father of Pṛthu Maharaj, was condemned by the Brahmanas and saintly persons because of his denying the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and rejecting the method of satisfying him, performance of Vedic sacrifice. So that's what Vena was doing. He stopped people from doing the Vedic sacrifices, and that's the reason the Brahmanas killed him. Well, not only that, he was like so cruel. So the Brahmanas killed him. In other words, he was an atheist who did not believe in the existence of God and who consequently stopped all Vedic ritualistic ceremonies in his kingdom. Pṛthu Maharaj considered King Vena's character abominable because Vena was foolish regarding the execution of religious performances. Atheists are of the opinion that there is no need to accept the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be successful in religion, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. So that's what we are living in, a godless society now. Our society is moved away from God consciousness, and therefore that's the reason there is so much havoc in society. According to them, dharma or religious principles are meant to establish an imaginary God, to encourage one to become moral, honest, and just so that the social orders may be maintained in peace and tranquility. So if we try to teach some religious principles without actually referring to Krishna, it cannot hold. It cannot hold because the root is Krishna. Krishna is the one who's giving us the result of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Furthermore, they say that actually there is no need to accept God for this purpose. For if one follows the principles of morality and honesty, that is sufficient. Similarly, if one makes nice plans and works very hard for economic development, automatically the result of economic development will come. So we say, oh, I'm a nice person. Someone may say, oh, there's no God, but I'm a nice person. Then how do we become nice though? If we don't accept in God, that means then we are just taking things for ourselves. We are not using the things appropriately in the service of God. We are not reviving our own relationship with God, and we are not encouraging others to revive their relationship with God. We are ourselves planning to stay more and more in this material world, and we are encouraging others also to stay longer in the material world. That's the reason we have to tell people about Krishna so they can immediately understand. Immediately their devotional life can begin. Similarly, sense gratification also does not depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for if one earns enough money by any process, one will have sufficient opportunity for sense gratification. Insofar as liberation is concerned, they say, that there is no need to talk of liberation because after death, everything is finished. How can we, if somebody tells us, oh, but there's no afterlife, what can we tell people? What are the some ways we can tell? Someone may say there is no.
So what do we tell them? Like who says that there's no life after death? That's what you're asking?
Yeah.
But then how, so we can just tell them that how is it possible that there is no life after death? Then how is somebody, how we are born as in what we are born as? Like how somebody is born very beautiful, how somebody is born very rich or very poor. So there is life after death.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have heard, I went to this one of my friend's house, her mother had died, and then the husband is saying कि life का कोई भरोसा नहीं है, खाओ पियो जियो ऐश करो. I said, what? Like after even understanding, reading so much, if we say this, then we are foolish. That means that life is not खाओ पियो ऐश करो. It is कि आप जितना कर सकते हो उतना करो, because उसका कोई भरोसा नहीं है. आप जितना धर्म कर सकते हो, आप जितना रीड कर सकते हो, आप जितनी डिवोशनल सर्विस कर सकते हो उतनी करो. बिकॉज खाना पीना ऐश करना तो वो तो फिर आप जब जानवर बनोगे तब भी कर सकते हो ना. खाना पीना तो तब भी कर सकते हो. बट दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव गॉट फॉर, कि अगर ये समझ में आ गया कि सबको मरना है एक दिन और किसी का भी वक्त कभी भी आ सकता है, देन दैट मीन्स दैट indulge in devotional service right now. We should start the devotional service right now. I felt very sorry that how people think sometimes, even in this situation.
Yeah.
And that is also not like young people.
Yes.
That is like, I'm talking about 55, 60 years old people. They are the most dangerous this time.
Yeah, but that's what we are taught everywhere right now. The media, the everywhere we are being taught that. But
One
yeah,
life.
as you said,
You just have one life. अच्छे से जियो. एक ही life है, एक ही जिंदगी है. My God.
yeah, but we should have
Like there
faith
is a
in
better
Krishna's
life
words.
after death. If there's a better life after that, if we know how to live now, how engage in devotional service, and we
Yes.
can go back to
Godhead.
have Godhead and have a better life. So that's why, like, how much we are taught now the art of living, but we should learn the art of death, which is so important.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also includes the art of living. How do we need to live our life centered around Krishna, so that we will have that art of dying too. Because we've forgotten the art of actually how to live Krishna conscious lives. And here the devotees are trying to remind us, trying to remind us of what Krishna's instructions are. Surrender unto him. Okay, let's try to finish this. Pṛthu Maharaj, however, thank you so much. Pṛthu Maharaj, however, did not accept the authority of such atheists headed by his father, who was the grandson of death personified. Generally, a daughter inherits the qualities of her father, and a son gets the qualities of his mother. Thus, Mrithyu's daughter Sunita got all the qualities of her father, and Vena inherited the qualities of his mother. A person who is always objected to the rules and regulations of repeated birth and death cannot accommodate anything beyond materialistic ideas. Since King Vena was such a man, he did not believe in the existence of God. Modern civilization agrees with the principles of King Vena, but factually, if we scrutinizingly study all the conditions of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, we must accept the principles of the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to the Vedic literature, religion consists only of the codes of law given by God. Religion means following the word of God. If one does not accept the authority of the Supreme Personality, Supreme Godhead in matters of religion and morality, one must explain why two persons of the same moral standard achieve different results. It is generally found that even if two men have the same moral standards of ethics, honesty, and morality, their positions are still not the same. Something to think about, no? Prabhupada is saying somebody is following the same rules, regulations, same moral codes, but their situation might be completely different. It is similarly in economic development, it is seen that if two men work very hard day and night, still the results are not the same. One person may enjoy great opulence without even working, whereas another person, although working very hard, does not get 2 sufficient meals a day. Isn't it something to think about again? If we say that, oh, work very hard and we will get the result, or be religious, be moral, and we will get the result. So here, Prabhupada is pointing out then two people may be doing the same thing, but the results are completely different. Similarly, in the matter of sense gratification, sometimes one who has sufficient food is still not happy in his family affairs, or sometimes is not even married, whereas another person, even though not economically well off, has the greatest opportunity for sense gratification. Even an animal like a hog or dog may have greater opportunities for sense gratification than a human being. So aside from liberation, even if we consider only the preliminary necessities of life, dharma, artha, and kama, religion, economic development, and sense gratification, we will see that they are not the same for everyone. Therefore, it must be accepted that there is someone who determines the different standards. In conclusion, not only for liberation must one depend on the Lord, but even for ordinary necessities in this material world. Pṛthu Mahārāja therefore indicated that in spite of having rich parents, children are sometimes not happy. Similarly, in spite of valuable medicine administered by a competent physician, sometimes a patient dies. Or in spite of having a big safe board, sometimes a man drowns. We may thus struggle to counteract impediments offered by material nature, but our attempts cannot be successful unless we are favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna's will is supreme. This is what Pṛthu Mahārāja is explaining to his citizens. Yes.
But this is so beautiful, right? Like this is like kind of, it gives you faith. It gives it attacks your faith when you read this. That doesn't matter, right? It attacks your faith that yes, Krishna is there for his devotees. You just do the right thing and you just surrender onto him. You just have faith on him. You do your duty and rest. You just trust him.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, have faith in Krishna that he's our best friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So let's stop here today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki